Mumbai Dreams and Dark Realities, the story of Priya's disappearance. Priya, a bright, ambitious 18-year-old from a small town, has just graduated at the top of her class. She's excited to leave her family behind to pursue her dreams in Mumbai. Her goal is simple yet challenging: to make a name for herself and prove her worth. But her conservative family, especially her father, is wary of her living alone in such a big city. Priya's father, Raghav, is a strict, traditional man who believes women should prioritize family over career. He warns Priya that the city holds many dangers. However, Priya's elder sister, Suman, encourages her to take the leap, confident that her younger sister can handle anything Mumbai throws at her. The family drama intensifies as Raghav forbids Priya from leaving. But Priya, determined to follow her dreams, stands her ground, saying, "One day you'll see the name Priya Deshmukh in the headlines, and then you'll realize why I had to leave." Arriving in Mumbai, Priya is both exhilarated and intimidated by the city's sheer size and energy. She finds a small apartment in a bustling neighborhood surrounded by strangers and skyscrapers. Initially, things go well. Priya immerses herself in her studies and part-time job. She befriends a few neighbors, including Reena, a struggling actress, and Samir, a reclusive artist. Both warn her about the harsh realities of city life, but Priya shrugs it off, eager to experience everything. Her life seems to be on track until she starts receiving mysterious, unsettling messages. They're short, cryptic, and often arrive late at night. At first, she assumes they're harmless pranks from her new friends. But soon, these messages begin to escalate, taking a darker turn with specific threats and personal details that only someone close would know. One evening, Priya doesn't return home. Her neighbors notice her absence but assume she's staying with friends or working late. Days pass, and there's still no sign of her. Her family is in a state of panic, especially her father, who feels helpless and guilty for letting her go. When they reach out to Priya's friends, no one has any leads on her whereabouts. Reena and Samir recall Priya mentioning an unsettling encounter with a man she'd met online, but they hadn't taken her concerns seriously. Desperate, Priya's father travels to Mumbai, frantically searching for any clue. He reports her missing, but with no clear leads, the police's investigation is slow to start. Enter Detective Aarya Kapoor, a sharp, no-nonsense investigator with a knack for solving complicated cases. Known for her relentless pursuit of the truth, Aarya decides to take on Priya's case personally. She reviews Priya's recent contacts, her social media, and the ominous messages on her phone. Each message points to someone with intimate knowledge of Priya's daily life. Aarya questions Reena and Samir, piecing together Priya's last known actions. Reena recalls seeing a black car parked outside their building a few nights before Priya disappeared, while Samir mentions a strange man who visited her twice but refused to give his name. However, both admit they hadn't thought much of these incidents at the time. Detective Aarya digs deeper, tracing the cryptic messages to a prepaid number that's impossible to track. But a lead emerges from Priya's social media, where she had recently connected with a man named Kunal, an entrepreneur with a questionable reputation. People in Priya's circle recall her mentioning Kunal's name and how she had felt both charmed and slightly wary of him. When Aarya confronts Kunal, he initially denies any involvement, claiming he barely knew Priya, but his shaky alibi raises suspicion. As the investigation intensifies, Aarya learns about Kunal's dark side. He has a history of manipulating young women and making them disappear from their social circles. A trail of deleted messages and hidden phone calls suggests Kunal had been stalking Priya. Aarya also discovers that Priya had confided in Reena, saying she feared she was being watched. However, she had brushed it off, not wanting to alarm her family back home. Aarya retraces Priya's last known steps and uncovers a shocking detail. Priya had visited an upscale hotel on the night she disappeared. Security footage shows Priya entering the hotel lobby with Kunal. But oddly, Kunal exits the hotel alone in the early hours of the morning. There's no footage of Priya leaving, leading Aarya to suspect that something sinister happened within those walls. A search of the hotel room reveals traces of blood, confirming Aarya's worst fears. The forensics team finds partial DNA matches that indicate Priya was in the room, but there's no trace of her body. Aarya realizes she's dealing with a case of kidnapping and possibly murder, though the lack of concrete evidence keeps her from pressing charges against Kunal. Feeling the weight of guilt, Reena confesses to Aarya that she knew more than she initially let on. She reveals a disturbing truth. Kunal had once been her boyfriend, and she had introduced him to Priya, unaware of his twisted intentions. When Priya had confided her fears, Reena dismissed them, thinking Priya was overreacting. Reena is now tormented by her role in the tragedy, realizing that her naivety may have led to Priya's demise. Aarya reassures Reena, saying that she could help solve the case if she agrees to testify. Reena, driven by guilt, agrees to cooperate. Aarya devises a plan to lure Kunal into a trap. She arranges a sting operation with Reena as the bait. Reena reaches out to Kunal, feigning interest and saying she wants to rekindle their relationship. Kunal, unsuspecting, agrees to meet her in a secluded spot. Undercover officers wait in the shadows, capturing every word as Kunal begins boasting about his power over women and how he had manipulated Priya. Kunal's arrogance is his downfall. He inadvertently reveals details about Priya's final moments, confirming Aarya's suspicions. As the officers close in, Kunal realizes he's been caught. He tries to escape, but he's apprehended before he can slip away. With Kunal in custody, he confesses to the horrific events of that night. Driven by a twisted sense of control, he had drugged Priya and attempted to intimidate her into submission. But when Priya resisted, things escalated. In a fit of rage, he had assaulted her and left her unconscious. Believing he had killed her, he panicked and disposed of her in an abandoned factory on the outskirts of the city. A team is immediately dispatched to the location, where they find evidence of Priya's struggle, her belongings scattered across the room. Fortunately, Priya is alive but in a critical condition, suffering from trauma and dehydration. She's rushed to the hospital, where doctors work tirelessly to stabilize her. In the following weeks, Priya begins her slow journey to recovery, haunted by the memories of her harrowing ordeal. Her family, especially her father, is both relieved and guilt-ridden, having realized the toll their relationship had taken on her life. Priya's father pledges to support her unconditionally, vowing to be by her side through her healing process. Detective Aarya, now a hero in Priya's family's eyes, is lauded for her dedication and skill in solving the case. She remains humble, knowing there are countless other young women in similar situations who may not be as fortunate.